Hey there, everybody. Meteorologist Danielle Miller here, and we are here to talk about some storms in the forecast. If you didn't get that push alert on your phone or that notification from Fox 43, well, we've got some severe weather in the forecast for today. A chance of it, at least. So we're here to break down that forecast, talk about what you can expect, and answer any questions that you might have. In particular, if you're watching me on Facebook, I've got the comments up, so if you have any questions throughout the video, please write them below and I'll try and answer them either throughout this presentation, at the end of it, we'll have a little chit chat, and also just let me know where you're watching from so I can help tailor that forecast for you, for where you live. I know all of us really, A, needing some relief from the heat, and B, needing some rainfall, and so we might get that today, but it might come a little too much, a little too quick. It might come with some storms. Lots to get to. Let's dive right in and talk about the new watch that we have for the entire area. A tornado watch was issued for Mifflin, Juniata, Perry, and Dauphin counties. That is in effect until 9 p.m. this evening. So you guys, per the Storm Prediction Center, have the best chance of getting a little bit of spin and that tornado risk as these storms push through. Though don't discount this watch. If you are in Franklin, Cumberland, Adams, York, Lancaster, Lebanon counties, you also have a little bit of spin in the atmosphere today. So I think that option and that threat is on the table for a good chunk of our area where we could see that brief spin up tornado. It's not a guarantee, it's a watch, but I want you to stay weather aware, start thinking of those plans, and just to reiterate and remind you guys the difference between the watch and the warning, we're at that watch phase, so severe weather possible later today. So this is when we're going to start creating those plans, making sure you have a place to go in case you get under one of those tornado warnings, and just getting ready to go. If we do have any warnings issued, first thing you'll notice, we're going to hop on TV and talk you through it. Second thing you really need to be doing is getting to that safe place, indoors, bottom level, cover your head, whatever you can do to keep yourself safe. So that's the gist of it. Let's go and talk about what's happening outside right now. Here's Storm Tracker. I've seen a shower bubble up here and there over the past hour or two. None of that really coming with any severe threats. So we're going to watch and continue with that chance for a shower to potentially bubble up as we go on through the next couple of hours. These, again, should be sub-severe. I don't even think I could find one for you here as we're looking around. Maybe a couple of sprinkles through Juniata County. And then as we go on to the bottom, yeah, not a whole lot of activity, but you'll see, starting to see some storms bubbling up out to the west, and eventually these storms start to move a little bit more eastward with the cold front and head our direction. Let's talk about that setup. We are looking at a cold front headed our way, along with the remnant energy from Beryl. Yes, Hurricane Beryl, that had 3 different landfalls as it trekked across the tropics. The energy from that storm is continuing to push up to the north, and anytime you have the remnants of tropical systems, you typically still see a little bit of spin with them, and that's typically when we could have a chance for a tornado or two. But Beryl itself is no longer alive. The system has merged with a system that's a little bit farther north when it comes to latitude, and we've got fronts now. So no longer tropical. We've got a cold front, we've got a warm front, so things are looking definitely a little different than your typical tropical system. But it's still feeding us plenty of tropical moisture. We've got winds just coming in from the south. You can feel it as you're outside. We are pumping in the humidity. Now, the best chance for some of those severe storms today is going to be to our north along this cold front, but with all of this moisture in place and we've got this cold front headed our way, we're still in that potential for severe weather where we live too. And one thing that you're going to be noticing is how sticky it feels outside. I know as soon as you walk outside, you start sweating. It is humid. It feels like Florida outside. And this is the reason why. Those southerly winds pumping up all of that moisture. So dew points, I know it's kind of a complicated topic, but this is how we like to measure moisture in the air, so how much water is in the air. And anytime you get dew points in the 70s, downright tropical. That's really, really gross. So we're over here in that steamy category. The lower the dew point, the lower the moisture, and the more comfortable you feel. So areas like Minneapolis, dew points in the upper 50s, that's superb, especially in the middle of the summertime. Dew points in the 70s, That's tropical, and that's really going to fuel a lot of those storms and even that potential for some heavy rainfall as we look ahead. Check this out. Lycan's a dew point of 78 degrees. That is extremely high. A similar story out in Chambersburg, so all of us certainly feeling that high humidity and how gross it is outside. In addition to the humidity, we've got the heat. Temperatures are in the low to mid 90s, and it is 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So I do think these temperatures will continue to climb just a little bit higher. And when you factor in the heat and the humidity, of course, we're talking the heat index. These numbers are in the triple digits. So it is just downright hot outside. You're really not getting a whole lot of relief. That heat advisory continues for today. We've been dealing with it almost every single day the past couple of days, so no surprises there. Things are downright uncomfortable across the area. Now let's talk about storms, and let's time out these storms as they head our way. Here's 4 p.m. this afternoon. So from now to 4, I think we get an isolated shower to pop up, but nothing too organized. It's once we get to that 3-4 o'clock time frame that I'm going to start keeping an eye out to the west. We're going to watch as a line develops. Could be broken at first, and then it develops and becomes a little bit more linear as it pushes through. That's what we're going to be watching for, that potential for a strong to severe storm as it crosses through. We'll play this forward. Here's 6 p.m. right when you're headed home from work. So from Adams County, Gettysburg, if your travel's taking up Route 15 or down, you're going to be hitting this. Harrisburg pushing into parts of Upper Dauphin County, areas of Lebanon County, and then that line continues to work its way to the east through the evening. So here's 8 p.m. We're getting close to sunset. Lancaster County tapping into some of that thunderstorm activity, and then it fully pushes out of here by 12 o'clock tonight. We should be in the clear. So that's that time frame where we're really going to be watching. I think 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. is that main window of opportunity when it comes to some storms pushing on through. Here's the gist of it. If you like things broken down a little bit more particularly, from now to 4, we've got the heat, the humidity, that heat advisory is in place, and isolated storms pop up. Starting around 3-4 o'clock, that's when we start to get that line of storms developing, and that's going to move from west to east. So if you get that line of storms a little bit earlier, say 5-6 o'clock, and then it clears, you should be good through the rest of the night. So we're going to watch as that line progresses and that threat shifts east as we go throughout the day. So if you live in Lancaster County, it's going to be a later threat. I did see we've got Kevin watching from Philadelphia. Kevin, you're way later than these storm chances and timing that we're talking about here. We're focusing on the Harrisburg area here. If you have any questions, though, please drop them below. I'd love to help you guys and answer them as these storms push through and start developing really through the afternoon. Now, the severe weather threats with this system, damaging wind gusts is our primary concern when it comes to these storms. But as I mentioned, when it comes to tropical storms and the remnants of tropical storms, you get a little bit of spin, and so we'll be watching for that chance for a brief spin up tornado across the area. Another thing, with all of that humidity and moisture in place, we've got the potential for some pretty hefty downpours, and I know we could use the rain. It's just a problem when it comes a little bit too quickly that could cause some flooding issues. So that's something that we're going to be keeping an eye on when it comes to the rainfall. I see David has a question. He says, are we on track for a drought? And yeah, David, some spots are currently in drought. So areas similar to Lancaster County, some spots in Franklin and Adams County are seeing those drought conditions. We'll get an update on that tomorrow. So the information I have is about a week old in the data. They release that every week. So I'll make sure to show that in a little bit, I think probably on tomorrow's newscast, so we get the latest information. This would certainly help, but we could use a bit more. We could use a widespread soaking. Here's a look at some of the model data when we are looking over the next 12 hours or so. As you can see, I think everybody gets at least a little bit of rain, but where we get those heftier downpours and really a couple storms back to back, that's when you could be quickly picking up an inch, inch and a half, some models as high as 2 inches for some of those higher or heavier downpours. So that potential for a good soaking is there, but not everybody unfortunately taps into that moisture. The Weather Prediction Center is outlining a good chunk of our area. So what is that? Along and north of Route 30 under a moderate risk for some flooding issues today. So for this scale, it's a level 2 out of 4. So the potential is there. Areas south of Route 30 is under that low risk, so a level 1 out of 4 when it comes to any of that rainfall causing flooding concerns. Again, it has been dry, but if you get downpours coming too quickly, well, it could cause some problems. So something we'll keep an eye on as we go throughout the afternoon and along with some of those storm chances. I've got some more questions coming in. Jason says he's seen some spin in the atmosphere. Yes, me too. We are seeing some of that spin, which is why we do have that tornado watch in play and something that we're going to be keeping an eye on. Hi to Fred. He's tuning in from Lebanon. Thank you so much. Jerry wants to know, will the dew points drop off for Thursday and Friday? Great question. Yes, they're going to drop just a little bit, but we're going to take what we can get when it comes to those dew points. I don't think I'm able to drag that graphic in for you, but yes, the dew points are going to drop just a bit. It's still summertime sticky. In fact, the heat ramps right back up next week, but we do get a little bit of a break when it comes to the humidity for at least Thursday and maybe early Friday, but it's not long-lived relief, that's for sure. I want to show you some of these watches and warnings we've got really across the East Coast, across the area. We've got numerous severe thunderstorms up into parts of upstate New York. We've got, of course, multiple severe thunderstorms pushing through the Buffalo region, areas up in New York as well. We've also been keeping an eye on plenty of already tornado warnings. This one just south of Buffalo through 115. So just a little bit of a overview of some of the activity we're already seeing. We've got this other tornadic warned storm into Madison and what is that, Oneida counties up in New York. So just a little bit of a taste of what we're keeping an eye on across the country. Here at home, just those isolated storms starting to pop up. You can see we've got a little bit of a downpour popping up right over Fayette. You guys are the winners at the moment when it comes to any downpours. John says he is starting the rain dance. John, I'm right there with you. We need the rain, so certainly hoping we can get some of it. If anybody else has any questions, please drop them below as we continue to keep an eye to the sky when it comes to this forecast. You can always, of course, get a full look at your forecast on fox43.com/weather. Now, we do have soccer on today, so Fox 43 News at 4 is canceled for today. We'll be back at 5 p.m. or whenever soccer is ending, whatever comes sooner. Or first, I should say. But if there does happen to be a tornado warning, of course, we're going to hop on the air. You've got me this afternoon. Allie DeBicky's coming in this evening, so her and I are going to get you through these storms if they pop up. And, of course, if they turn severe, we'll be getting you through that as well. I'm not seeing any other questions, so I think I'm going to end things for now. Thank you guys for tuning on in. Hopefully you're staying cool, staying safe today. Make sure you have those plans in place in case we get those warnings later on. We'll keep you updated.